Good afternoon guys, hope you're all well and welcome to episode 25 of Project Golf. So slightly different video today because the last few videos have featured Richard talking about the boot build and how he's been getting on with this car. Now, the last few weeks we have been working on this as much as we possibly can. The only downside is actually running the business is getting in the way. Well, we have to pay the staff and the wages and the mortgage and everything else like that. So we've got lots of other bills to pay. Now, ultimately, we would love to work on this all day, every day. But as I said, that doesn't pay the bills. So we have to think about how we're going to work around our jobs that are booked in on a daily basis and then proceed from there. Now, today's video, that's Richard in the background, if you can hear that, with a rather noisy Mustang. We've put a plate on that, just so we've had to remove some equipment for that today for a customer, and it's just nice to get a nice noisy car. So what we're going to do today on today's video is just show you a little bit more about some of the electronic side of things that we've done, that we've completed and now signed off, ready to go. So if Sammy comes round here, Last video we covered the boot build. Now, as you've seen this progress, you would have seen a standard empty boot with the spare wheel removed, all the sound deadening done, Richard's handmade subwoofer boot enclosure, which has got our two 8-inch subs in there. Actually, they're 6-inch. I think they're 6-inch S-series subs in here. So I've just checked with Rich. The R8s, I have no idea what I'm doing. I run the business, but literally have no idea what I'm doing. I'm only joking, I do. So we've got two S-series 8-inch subwoofers in here into their little personal enclosure, custom built enclosure. And then the idea is that when we go to shows, we have this as a false floor. So for all intent and purposes, you can use this as a normal boot lid and do as you wish with it. Now, as the car goes back together, because the MOT for this, funnily enough, has just run out, but of course we can't chuck it in for an MOT because it's got no seats, no seat belts, we've got airbags unplugged and everything else. So the MOT inspector is going to just laugh at us. So that's not really a problem. This is then going to get rebuilt over the next few weeks and then the MOT sorted. But the reason for today's video was just to chat about three exciting things that we've been working on. And that was the flush factory look and feel parking sensors. So these have been color coded at the same time that the bumper went off to the body shop, and they are flush fit. And then at the same time, we also took the reversing camera and masked around the area and then color coded that as well, because the majority of our cameras are black. Now, we don't have the luxury on a normal basis just to color code everyone's reversing cameras, because that would be costly and time consuming. Also, you'll notice that we have put a nice set of road legal pressed steel plates on here. Now, we probably will invest in a nice little private plate for this at some point, just so that you can't see the age of it. And also, private plate, depending on what you put on there, can look quite cool, which is nice. So if we can find a nice cheap plate on a DVLA auction, then we will do. But for the moment, that's the original 08 plate on there. It just made it look a lot nicer with the pressed steel plates, which is what Richard's got on his Mark 1 TT. Now, so parking sensors are just audible. Modules fitted in the boot there, and these are, well, you pop it into reverse gear, the kit goes live, and then it picks up from around about 1.5 meters until about 30 centimeters. So standard parking sensor stuff, no integration with the car whatsoever, but still a nice feature, because whatever we do with this car, and we don't know what we're doing with it yet, because we're already talking about the next project car, another German brand, not this brand, another German brand. So you can start guessing at some point. But we then thought about, well, whoever buys it is going to want some parking sensors in addition to the reversing camera. So then we move on to the head unit. Now, we did a trade-in with a customer not that long ago for an Alpine iLX-705D, which is the 7-inch digital media receiver, no navigation. It's just got a really nice crisp 7-inch HD 720 touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto. It's even got built-in Tidal app, but it's got a Class D amplifier, which we are utilising for our rear speakers. So the rear component speakers are run off there, the front 3 ways, and also then the subs all connected to the processor, so individually controlled. So join me in the front now, and then we'll show you the iLX that's all powered up. Oh, might as well actually say at the same time, the iLX is also connected for FM, DAB and GPS on the shark fin. Now the German shark fin is on our website. We sell these all the time. Absolutely amazing bit of kit, very, very reliable. And of course then we've got this color coded to replace the old fashioned one that was on there. That was an earlier episode. Right, let's cut to the more exciting bit. Okay, Sammy sat in the back on the back seat. We don't have any seats in here at the moment. As you can see, the center tunnel console is all still out. Glove box is out. And also the driver's panel. So we've got all sorts of warnings that come on when you turn the ignition on. The Alpine iLX is now in. This is still using a CAN bus data lead behind the scenes to provide things like reverse trigger, speed pulse, and steering wheel control. So this is the pre-facelift around about 2009, 2010, when the Mark 6 came out with a completely new button set and white driver's information system. But it doesn't matter because it still works nicely with this, so we can still adjust the volume like so and do what we need to do. Now, the iLX-705 seemed to be the most logical solution in here. We didn't want to spoil the dashboard with a big Halo 9 or 11 in here. So that's the reason why we've gone for that. And to be honest, we're not concentrating on this. This head unit was just really the display for us to then power or provide the foundations for everything else. Now, above my head, hopefully you can see that, is Richard's custom made controller. Now, this is the original trim. I think we featured it in the last video, but this is the custom, or this is the trim that normally holds the interior lights, the ultrasonic sensors for the alarm, and this would ordinarily be the sunglass holder for the vehicle. Richard's then made a little mount for the remote controller with our little Alcantara, which looks really, really good. And again, those of you who are interested in the sort of more bespoke personal stuff, this is the kind of stuff that we enjoy doing just to make your job look really, really good. Okay, so then looking at the iLX-705, if we pop it into reverse gear, we've got the reversing camera now that's just popped up. And because we have fitted the camera along with the head unit, we don't need to put it into reverse gear. I can take it out of reverse gear like so and just press the dedicated camera button. And then we can add things like guidelines, because of course the Alpine offers these guidelines, and we can adjust them length and width to this particular vehicle. Also, if we wanted to, because the iLX range of digital media receivers, you can actually have another camera. You could toggle between front and rear camera, which is something that we could add on to if we wanted to. I think we would just wanted to concentrate on getting the vehicle in and done and the audio side of it done. But as you will hopefully agree, even in our workshop with a lot of LED lighting, really nice, clean, clear image from these reversing cameras, especially on the 720. So you can then see our number plate as well. And then if I was to start the engine and put it into reverse gear, you might just be able to hear that in the back, but that was the parking sensors coming live, and then because we're not yet meeting an obstruction, they're just going to beep once and say, I'm armed and ready to go. Now, the difficult bit for Sammy here is being able to see what we've done up here. So when we were talking in the workshop one day, I said to Richard and Owen, that we need to cater for everything in terms of being able to show the vehicle. Now, typically, these models came with two variants. One was a storage pocket like this. Another one was like an air vent that probably could have housed the center speaker if you'd had the Dyne audio system. What we've done is we've cleverly, underneath the rubber mat here, we have fitted a single USB that is for wired Apple CarPlay, and then on the other USB output from here, we've then fitted the USB and the HDMI. So if we wanted to plug in a Fire Stick for the HDMI socket for streaming, we can do. And then we've also got this as a dedicated Apple CarPlay and Android Auto USB. And then when we're not using it, hidden away, job done. So this video, oh, I tell you what, we haven't discussed quickly as well, is I'm going to put the key in the ignition. I don't know if Sammy can get much of it. We have covered it in quite a few of our videos, is that the LED lighting is, I'd say, nearly all in and working. We've still got random ones down here because this is for the rear footwell, this is for the front footwell, and of course, because it's RGB, basically means that we can change all the different colors and whatnot, and we're in full control. Hence the reason why we've also got the remote control for the boot build as well, which Richard's been doing. So next update, hopefully, which will be next week, will be us talking about the Alcantara side of things for the false floor and for the boot build, and then things like the rebuild for the seats and the dashboard and everything else. So stay tuned, guys. We are rebuilding. We're getting to more of the exciting stuff of nearing the end of the project, getting all the roof back in once we've then recovered it. But that will be also another video that we feature in probably 2 or 3 weeks, will be the recovering of the actual headlining and roof lining itself. So stay tuned and we'll see you for the next episode.